Hi, everyone. I'm Cari Kelemen, and today I have with me Jenny from California. How are you today, Jenny?
I am doing well, and thank you for having us.
I'm happy to have you here today. On Twitter, you told me you had a story, so what is it?
Well, the story begins when the market crashed. I had a company of 32 years, a very high producing company. I loved it. And I started it when I was fairly young.
Mm-hmm.
And my income is anywhere from 350,000 a year income to sometimes three-quarters of a million, depending on the year, this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed in 2008, and I was also pro rodeo,
Mm-hmm.
barrel racing in the rodeo. I had all of my horses. I trained them myself. We were really doing fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Trucks, trailers, ranch, everything. I was living the dream,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked hard for it. I worked very hard for it. And then in 2008, they started calling it a market crash. And I was noticing sales were going way down. Clients were just not coming in. So I am forced to go back in and work behind the counters and offset with my employees. I had three stores.
Mm-hmm.
So I was taking over. And then, of course, I'm hearing what's going on. My clients are losing their jobs, their businesses. These are people that frequent all of our businesses here on the high desert. And we had a flourishing town. We've always had a nice flourishing town. And as it's rolling along, I'm noticing that there's less clients. They're unable to purchase, and my heart is starting to break. Well, after about a year of that, noticing sales are going way down, yeah, I guess it's the entrepreneur in me,
Mm-hmm.
but you automatically think that, well, that's going to change.
Yeah.
It's going to come back up. And it just didn't. And it just kept progressively getting worse. The next thing you know, I used whatever money I could. I never would think myself in that position, and I'm very business minded,
Mm-hmm.
but I too started to panic. So I'm using the money to pay for employee wages, um, to pay for horse feed. I had the first thing you have to do is you got to drop out of rodeo because you can't afford the entry fees, the fuel. That was also when the fuel was going up to $4 and $5 a gallon.
Yeah.
I had a Freightliner with a huge, massive horse trailer, and I couldn't afford any of it. So everything sat. As it got worse and worse, I had to start selling equipment, tractors. And I remember the one that really crushed me, one of the incidences that crushed me the most. It wasn't my big tractor, my big 545D, which was a Ford.
Mm-hmm.
It was my little Kubota. And
Oh.
as it was an older couple driving off, and I just sobbed. I couldn't do it. Um, but the losses were grand.
Mm.
My older retired horses, it was their time. One of them, he died, he was 32. And so all these crushing
Yeah.
incidences were happening. I closed one store, then another store got flooded from the landlord's pipes, and it was
Mm.
just it was a snowball effect. And the next thing you know, in 2011, I started falling behind on my mortgage payments.
Mm.
Well, I caught it up, and what shocked me was the mortgage company would not cash the check. They held on to it for 2 months so they could actually auction off my ranch, so they could make money off my ranch. It was beautiful ranch.
Oh no.
And so I got a notice in, and then finally the check that was not a canceled check came back to me. Sorry, we can't do anything about it. The auction date is, I just lost it.
Oh no.
Yeah. So at that point, I'm selling pretty much everything. And the next thing you know, I get into, and of course, homeless, where do you go? So I've got four horses left, and they're older, and I've got two top rodeo horses that are still, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I was kind of talked into this by a friend to go over to this other ranch. Now I knew the gentleman. I used to swim my horses there.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he was a pretty good guy. I really didn't know. He has a huge racehorse facility ranch,
Mm-hmm.
and there's all kinds of parking and camping on the outside of the fence. And I thought, perfect. I can put up, the horses in the corrals. So I talked to him personally. He said, sure, no problem. Began to pay rent. My girlfriends and I moved me all over there, right? And you're stacked with stuff all around you. And it was so frightening. On Thanksgiving Day, the man came over to my trailer, my horse trailer. Now, mind you, I'm still working behind a counter every morning. I've got to leave and go to work. And so I can try to put food on the table and feed the animals and pay for whatever employees are left. By then, I think I had 16 of them to start with, or 25, and I was down to 3.
Yeah.
So it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and on Thanksgiving morning, this guy comes over and he says, I need more money. I said, I just paid you a month, 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And he says, it's not my month. He says, we in Mexico, we don't calculate the same month that you do. It's not 30 days for us. It's a month. It could be a week. It could be 2 weeks. So I'm writing in another month check, and I'm panicking. Turns out he's Mexican mafia, unbeknownst to me.
Oh, no.
I walked out of a situation into a whole nother frightening situation. As the days go by, I'm, of course, frantically trying to find another place to move. And they were stealing my hay. They stole all my mats. They stole pretty much everything that wasn't already sold prior to that.
Yeah.
And then he came and threatened me and my horses. And he says, if you don't get out, I'm like, what did I do? Right.
Yeah.
I'm a very trusting, humble woman. And that there was a whole new world out there that I knew nothing about. Not a thing. I'm thinking, this is the American way. Oh my God, what is this? So I was really scared. Next thing you know, they're having the OK Corral shootout. Bullets are flying past my horse trailer. And then he hollers at me. It was like midnight one night, wakes me up. So I look out the window, and underneath a huge light post, they had a big lamp post up there. It was probably 40 feet in the air, a gigantic noose. He says, that's for you, cowgirl. That's for you. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So it was just getting worse. The next thing you know, I find myself with 4 horses, 2 dogs in tow, running down the riverbed while shots are being fired at us. Yeah, I've lived through it all.
Oh, my stars. I knew it was bad out there. This is crazy bad. Okay, the thing I wanted to ask you, you had said that some of Obama's policies led to your situation. Can you tell me exactly which Obama policies led to the demise of your company from 2008 to 2011? What exactly happened?
Well, the regulations became so strict. Even if you made a good season's worth of income, it was all paid out in taxes, and the regulations were causing me to have to fight what was going on. And I'm not a fighter. I'm not that kind of a person. I try to go with and do what I can with the situation that's given to me. But there was one specific day that I'll never forget. I turned on the TV because I think a girlfriend called me and says, you need to see this. On the news, President Obama was talking about tanning salons. That's what I owned. A chain of tanning salons. I started them when I was, 20-something years old. I'm 60 in 2 days. And I had a beautiful company. I've been tanning in a tanning bed my entire life. I have no skin cancer. None of my clients had skin cancer. So it became a fallacy. And they're talking about how we need to regulate it, especially in California, because
I remember the tanning salons getting singled out, and I'm thinking, what the heck?
We were hammered. And I even got a call. I turned it down. I got called by the, that show called The Doctors, and it's on one of the LA channels. They called me and wanted to know, they really were begging me to be on their TV show because I was the #1 tanning company in America because I was one of the first ones to start up.
Right.
And I profited. My clients loved me. I really enjoyed my work.
Mm-hmm.
And it also allowed me to do what I really love, which was rodeo,
Right.
training horses, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So when I saw that, I am not kidding, within that one particular week, it was in January,
Mm-hmm.
I lost everybody. Everybody runs scared. They're all getting their skin checked at the dermatologist. Now, I even go to a dermatologist.
Mm-hmm.
My dermatologist tans.
Mm-hmm.
My dermatologist is not politically correct. He goes snow skiing, he goes water skiing, and he says, your skin is fine. He says everybody is taking chunks off of people's faces and telling them that you have probable skin cancer, and people are flocking to those lies. It's just a pharmaceutical-driven industry. It's all money. Look where the money trail goes. You know how you're going to be slashed. So that was one of the major problems. But when my clients began to lose their homes, they were regulated out of business. They were working for corporations. I remember a lot of them speaking to me. And I would just stand there and, what do you say? I'm so sorry. Every day is, I'm so sorry. By the time you go home, everything in your life is, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No, it's heartbreaking.
It was
Absolutely heartbreaking. Yeah, and what the media wouldn't tell us is that these regulations have an enormous effect on people. It's not businesses are not business is people. These are their lives, their livelihoods, their heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears poured into a company built from the ground up by you. You've spent your life. Okay, so Obama's regulations, his scare tactics. Do you think that was done on purpose to benefit the medical groups that were looking into skin cancers, dermatology groups? Do you think maybe there was a payoff there? Okay.
Absolutely. Everything is about the almighty dollar. Don't get me wrong. I love the almighty dollar. Mm-hmm. Everybody deserves it. But when you're using people's lives to make money, that's where I draw the line. That isn't corporation. That is not even big business.
Yeah.
That's something way on the dark side of things, and that is all political driven propaganda.
Right.
And California's been destroyed. I have a company now. I reinvented myself. And after all of that happened, then I moved to Arizona. I just packed up and left.
Yeah.
And started running rodeo again. And there's a saying out there for us horse people, especially the competitive ones. You can't run on scared money.
Interesting.
When you are worried about having to win that check, you're probably not going to. Because if you think about it, I'm an energy healer now. And I've actually been doing this since I was 8 years old. I just didn't know what it was called.
Yeah.
But I know all about that energetic vibration. And when you're thinking something repetitively, worrying about something, it's going to manifest, all right? It's going to take you down. So you got to really watch your thoughts.
Yeah.
But I did fairly well, but it got to the point where I remember 2000, I moved there in late 2011. And, the election in 2012 was coming up, the re-election, or the election. Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, we've got a chance.
Yeah.
Oh, that morning I woke up. I went to bed that night. I had been working on my horse's legs. I was using the therapeutic wraps and stuff. And I was so tired. I didn't want to listen to the rest of the election. So I thought, say a prayer, go to bed. Wake up the next morning. I was in shock.
Yeah.
We were so brokenhearted because we knew it's not that anybody hated President Obama. It's the fact of what he stood for and the regulations.
Yeah.
You're not going to earn a living. And when you've already been kicked to the curb the first 4 years, you damn well know what's going to happen the second 4 years. And we were just scared to death. All of my girlfriends were all entrepreneurs,
Right.
were business women, businessmen, ranchers. There was nothing left. So a lot of the hope went right out the door.
Sure. Okay, so did the night, let's fast forward from election night 2012 to election night 2016. How did you feel that the morning of November 9th?
I'll tell you what, that's the first night I think I've ever stayed up all night long. When I'm watching it roll over on the screen, right? Each state is going over and I'm going, I would be texting my friends going, he's going to win this thing. Trump's going to win this thing. Oh my God, we're actually going to win it. I mean, the buzz was, we were so excited because we knew who we were voting for, what he stood for, why we came out, why he came out. I don't care if he's the richest man in the world. He knows business.
Yeah.
And isn't that what America is built on?
Yeah.
The freedom to earn a living, the freedom to succeed, that is follow your dream, follow your heart. I had been crushed so badly that I lost my heart for a while.
Yeah.
I couldn't, and yeah, especially when you have to sell your horses.
Yeah.
You're looking at them and it's like, I raised you from a baby. That was just so hard.
Those are family members. I mean,
they are your family.
Yeah.
They're all I had. They're all I had. And then I met a wonderful man in 2013. He was a lawyer, a judge, a cowboy, and I thought, life can't get better than this. I was so happy. We had 2 years, not even quite full 2 years. And he was diagnosed with cancer in October of 2014.
Oh.
He died 2 days before Christmas in 2000. I mean, that quick. And I'm sitting there again going, is there something wrong with my life?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have been through it all. You know, we can talk about gang members and, you know, MS-13. You know, my daughter was murdered in 1998.
Oh, my goodness.
By gangbangers, fighting amongst each other. The blacks, the Hispanics, it was like she had just graduated college. And she was just got her new uniform. She was going to be a paramedic. She was so excited she just got hired. Bam. She's just shot and killed. And it's a cold case. They still don't have the answers to that one. So I live with these things. Yeah. I've healed myself so well. While I was in Arizona, I was so shocked about my life. I couldn't stop crying. Finally, I was able to get some help and got some of the grief off of me. But I decided to go back to school. Now, mind you, I'm going to be 60 this Saturday. That was only a few years ago, right? That was like 6 years ago. I studied while living in my horse trailer. They shipped all of the materials, my books, my tests, everything to me because I explained to them, I cannot go to your campus and park a horse trailer and tie 2 horses that I have left now up to the side of the trailer.
Yeah.
She agreed. I've gotten my degrees in holistic health practitioner, and it's got a wide range of healing modalities that I can do for PTSD patients. I've dealt with many suicidal patients. I love working with vets. So the methods work. The other degree I have is spiritual life coaching.
Okay.
And the other one is energy healing therapeutic technician. So
Wow.
I've got a few. And I'm also, well, and you know why I've got them all? Because it was really easy for me because I've been doing these things my whole life.
Yeah, yeah.
I just wasn't charging for them.
You didn't have a title.
Now I have to earn a living. Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you.
So if you think about it, I hear from people every day on Twitter, on my Facebook account. They lost everything. And we're not talking just Californians. California got hit hard. And it took a while to work itself through even the wealthy communities. Doctors, lawyers were shutting down offices. That's pretty bad. When you've got that type of income, they've got no income.
Yeah.
And they keep claiming that the economy here in California is fantastic. And we're like, where are you getting your documentation from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's across the United States.
Right. It certainly is. Tell me, since Donald Trump has been in office, have you as a small business owner noticed any changes? And what are they?
Well, the biggest thing I have noticed is more clients starting to call. I'm getting more business. Before, I'm in an area that's actually been very recessed, okay, created through the Obama era and the crash. I have noticed people are starting to loosen it up a little bit, and they're looking for a different type of help. And I'm not against Western medicine, but if it's not working, okay, try something else. Step outside the box. Be creative. That's what I'm here for. I've noticed an increase in clientele. They have more income. Although I did know there's a gal that I've been talking with. She's in Missouri. She's working 4 jobs still. You know, that my heart. So she's actually on my list to be able to receive. And she bought a shirt. So it was President Trump himself before he became president. He was my inspiration. Even though I did these things and went back to school, lived in a horse trailer, struggled all by myself. When I still didn't have that confidence. I still didn't quite have enough faith. But when he began to run, I was on board from day one. In fact, Chris and I were talking about it in 2013. I said, if Donald Trump runs for president, would you vote for him? And he goes, heck yeah. So there was your answer. Fortunately, Chris didn't make it to see the day. And I know he can see it, but it still broke my heart. But that, that's my inspiration. When you can step outside of your comfort zone, which this president did. He didn't need to do it. He didn't have to do it. He did it for all of us. He became my inspiration. And so knowing full well what I crawled through, and I came out, I lifted myself up. Was it easy? No. And I've got only a couple of friends. And by the way, I lost all of my friends. When you lose your life and you lose your money, it's funny how you lose your friends. It was crushing.
Yeah, you have to find a new name for them because friend would not apply.
It does not apply any longer. No, I found it out the hard way. So I have a very small handful of good gals that are with me all the way. And then I decided, you know what, it's time to help out thousands or millions even of others, because we're looking at a lot of senior citizens that were planning on retiring, selling their businesses for good money. That was going to be their retirement. That was my case. I've talked to hundreds of people that's what they were doing. They lost it all. We invest in our lives. We're not working for another company. We are the company. It makes it, but yes, President Trump was my inspiration all the way. So I formed Cowgirls for Trump. And money from selling these lovely little shirts, the I'm a Trump girl shirts, and the reason that saying came up, I didn't want it to be the same as Trump girl because that really wasn't me. Somebody would ask me, so who are you voting for? I'm a Trump girl. That was my stock answer. So that's why these T-shirts were designed. And that's why I really believe that I know it's not an if, it's when. When we reach 1 million shirts sold, that money is going to be dispersed and we will be able to buy homes for people, literally buy them homes, literally buy them cars and trucks and get them their ranches back if need be, bring them their life back, bring them their self-respect back. We are a beautiful nation of beautiful people. We are. And it shows every day. It shows every day with us.
This is fantastic. We're grassroots. It is. It's grassroots. So how many people are involved in Cowgirls for Trump? How many of you are there?
We started out I was the founder. We went to 5. We've probably got about a solid group of 25 of us gals that are just doing all the work.
Yeah.
Now we invite anyone that wants to be a Cowgirls for Trump. Put your cowgirl hat on, get your t-shirt on, and you can be in this group. And I do have a goal. Someday we're going to be able to take our horses and ride down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Oh, wow. That is a great goal.
That
If Bikers
is
for
the
Trump can do it,
goal.
Cowgirls for Trump can do it.
I don't see why not. And I have to meet the president. I have to thank him for lifting the Americans back up on their feet, giving us that inspiration. I mean, I'm a very tenacious gal,
Obviously.
but that man showed me what real tenacity is.
Oh.
So my gratitude. My gratitude.
Jenny, your story has inspired me. This is incredible. I should call you Job for the trials you've been through, and you're still standing, and you're still striving, and you still have goals, and not just to pull yourself out of a hole, but you're helping others too. This is what making America great again looks like. You are an example of making America great again. My hats are off to you, Jenny. Well done. Good job.
Thank you. I love America. I love people. We're all spirit. We're all from God. There is no separation. As much as they'd like to believe, some of them out there, that we are not. We are all one. And that love has never stopped in my heart. And that's what's kept me going.
Fantastic. Couldn't say it better myself. Jenny, thank you so much for your story and for sharing it with us. I'm going to put all your contact information in the description below the YouTube video. And thanks again for your time today and for all you're doing for those around you. You're an inspiration.
Well, Cari, thank you so much for having me. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here today with you. And let's just make it a great country again. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.